37度5，我说完蛋了。
不要以为武汉人都犯病了，
生命太脆弱。
我来了，我一定要活着出去。
这2天，来自上海、浙江、海南、江西的医疗队先后出发。
我觉得我们城市并没有停下来，只是它的脚步很慢。
那如果我们不去的话，谁去呢？
只要希望跑得好，那么之前的所有这些都不会死。
自2020年1月23号10点起，全市城市公交、地铁、轮渡、长途客运暂停运营。
10 a.m., January 23rd. Wuhan goes into lockdown, an effort to stop a deadly virus from spreading further through the nation.
是看到整个武汉市都公交车、地铁全部封城了，然后还有很多人都没办法回家去。其实我是很同情他们的。
Chen Hung, a migrant worker, was among those who were forced to stay.
武汉地铁所有交通都要关，所以我们在外面走，路上好多人。
He and his fellow workmates finally found a shelter, an underground parking lot.
我们准备去那个叫什么，有个地方是救助站什么的，刚好那天晚上下雨，我们找了个地方躲了一下，雨下起来我们慢慢的走，就走到那里，他说不收人了，他说那边人太满了，不要了。
As Chen was walking in the rain, the number of confirmed coronavirus patients in Wuhan on day 1 of the lockdown was announced, 495. 10 times the number 2 weeks earlier. 9 million people were still in the city.
These authorities have traced a new deadly virus
From the wildlife sold in
this seafood market
in Wuhan that was illegally selling wildlife.
This seafood market was once believed to be the ground zero of the virus outbreak. Local authorities shut the market on January 1st, but the virus was already on the move. Dr. Zhao Zhigong was one of the first medical workers to face the virus in Wuhan.
对那个病人来说，他是从外地来的一名患者，发烧，有食欲下降，有咳嗽，然后同时他的 CT 当时在当地诊断的是肺炎。然后，但是我们就是拿当时的诊断标准，因为当时诊断标准第1条很重要，一定要有华南海鲜市场的接触史。
Wild animals were blamed, but evidence already pointed to human-to-human transmission.
有人传染是在2个地方。
83-year-old epidemiologist Zhong Nanshan, regarded as a national hero during the 2002-2003 SARS crisis, broke the news to the public.
这个资料表示呢，它是肯定的有人传人。这个现在啊，绝大部分呢是来自于武汉或者去过武汉。所以现在呢，我的总的看法呢，就是没有特殊的情况呢，是不要去武汉啊。
It alerted people across China while the situation in Wuhan deteriorated.
这个实际上是有些升级了啊，这个它的传染性呢，因为它的现在已经存在有人传染，同时医务人也有传染。
Dr. Zhao's patient never visited the seafood market, but the virus was there anyway. 2 days later, it was confirmed, and Zhao was now infected.
回家休息，突然回家一休息，出现了内寒，然后全身乏力，然后一量那个体温37度，我说完蛋。
More of Zhao's co-workers started to show symptoms.
像这样一个非保护的一个接触，这也是恰恰造成最终我们一组的医生护士全部被感染的原因之一。从那个时候开始，我们 们就知道这个疾病的传染性还是蛮高的。
Wuhan's 38,000 licensed medical workers were stretched thin as the virus progressed. As people turned up at fever clinics, the city's health system was buckling under the strain.
忙不过来，从来没见过这种架势呀，这种阵势。一个病人后面跟着一排病人，一个圈的病人，看着就有一点绝望的感觉到不了头。24小时不停的，还是有打不完的病人。
On the second day of the lockdown, work began on a new hospital. The new Huashanshan Hospital would have 1,000 beds specially designed to treat coronavirus patients.
我每天工作就是能够把事情往前面就能够快的，就尽量让它快。
But one new hospital was not enough. The second emergency hospital, promising another 1,600 beds, was planned.
尤其是奋战在防疫一线的白衣天使们，拜年！我们在这儿过年，你们却在帮我们过关。
On Chinese New Year's Eve, the night for family reunions, more than 1,200 medical workers across China were drafted to aid Wuhan. On New Year's Day, President Xi Jinping chaired a meeting of the Politburo Standing Committee, stressing safety and health were the top priority, and containing the epidemic was the most important task.
I'm declaring a public health emergency of international concern over the global outbreak of novel coronavirus.
On January 31st, the World Health Organization declared the outbreak a public health emergency of international concern. The fight to cage the viper is no longer just about Wuhan.
The main reason for this declaration is not because of what is happening in China. Our greatest concern is the potential for the virus to spread to countries with weaker health systems.
Cities across China started to put medical supply factories back to work. Back in Wuhan, general hospitals started to modify their regular wards into quarantine rooms for treating severely ill coronavirus patients. We entered one of the wards, but we were told that nothing could be taken into the quarantine areas, including cameras.
不行的，我们都没有带东西进去。我们配了一台那个，我们专门自己花多少钱买了一个台手机，1000多。就我自己买了个新手机放在里面，然后你的永远都不会拿出来的。昨天这个疫情结束了以后，到时候把它裱起来，把它留着纪念。
The vice president of the hospital said that whatever goes inside needs to stay inside. Doctors and nurses have to wear 2 layers of protective suits, hand gloves, shoe covers, face masks and goggles before entering the special ward.
10年都过了，这里面都是水头，不然的话我这样带没法带太久。
Finally, a GoPro was allowed inside, which had to be put into disinfectant for a whole day after filming. During their 6-hour shift, they can't drink, eat, or even use the toilet.
林大哥们用的那个比较不好，今天穿了吗？今天没穿。你是有穿的？有。那如果说，
This is Dr. Tang Xin. He hasn't been home for 2 weeks. Tang says severely ill patients need special care. The bells of the patients haven't stopped ringing. Nurses have to rush to attend them all the time.
我们好多数字上6小
shift ends, Dr. Tan Xin is finally able to take off his protective gear. He has a rash all over his body.
你工作的时候一直在忙，就也顾不上，就感觉没那么痒。对，洗完了以后，把衣服脱完了以后就洗。那就多久会消呢？可能要休息，就是6到8个小时吧。
To keep up with the workload, medical workers need to eat more.
我跟你讲，我们科室的男生比我们饭量还小，那2口就饱了，像个猫。
现在女生很能吃的。
对啊，你不能吃哪有力气啊？像我们就做事得靠力气，靠体力。有时候搬病人什么的，是吧？2人1张，我们有3个房，4个房是我们的，2人1张。
2人1张。
啊，2人1张。
那么窄。
那就将就先睡了呗。
今天来的时候，你和你的小伙伴们状态都还挺好的。
必须嗨起来，你不嗨起来的话，你怎么去面对？你要压抑下去的话，完蛋了。我们就这样。
But they also have fear.
说不害怕是假的，说不害怕是假的，就是当时就想到自己的孩子，然后想到自己的爸爸妈妈，然后就觉得万一自己有什么事，我爸妈只有1个孩子，他们怎么办？然后我的孩子还那么小，他该怎么办？想我啦？你站远一点，我看一下你好不好？啊，是你。你看你的牙还没有长起来，只能说跟他说，这次爸爸妈妈回来以后，等这场疫情就是结束以后的话，就是想带他出去玩。是不是这个时代？
如此艰辛。
February, over 10,000 medical workers from the rest of China had gone to help. And that number tripled in the following weeks. Doctors and nurses from 16 provinces were also drafted to help cities surrounding Wuhan, one province taking care of one city. Good news came out on February 2nd. The first emergency hospital, Huashanshan, started to take in severely ill coronavirus patients. Less than 2 weeks after construction work began. But a shortage of test kits was slowing the process of confirming cases, and there still weren't enough hospital beds. The city said it would send all confirmed patients to hospitals so that the majority of the 9 million people in lockdown could be safe. Many people with the virus were still out in the community. They needed to be separated to stop the virus spreading.
他原来是跟他2人一起住，但是就是有的呢，他们就隔离开了，他一块住。喂，师傅，我是社区的。
57-year-old Wei Qingwei tested positive for coronavirus pneumonia on January 25th. Since then, he has been staying home alone.
因为我看很多人都在抱怨嘛，说那个救助不及时啊。
那好气死！我们可能真的很气死。
Wei is reluctant to go to the quarantine hospital. Because of the shortage of ambulances, the local police send a van to take Mr. Wei to the hospital. After a 15-minute drive, Wei arrives at a quarantine center for non-severe patients. His anxiety eases when he opens his lunchbox at the hospital.
家里面做的要好吧？给家里面看，跟自己做的比。
家里面开烟灶，哪里开的这自己做的。
The Dozens of quarantine centers were now opened across the city. Those in quarantine included people who had close contact with confirmed patients, fever patients, and people with clinical symptoms that had not yet been confirmed. On February 5th, Dr. Zhao Zhegang was well enough to return to work.
但我心里想说，现在这场战役还正在焦灼的状态呢，还有那么多的病人需要去处理，前面做的逃兵，现在就要赶紧的冲上去，继续往下做。当然，这场战争最终还是会打赢。
The fatality rate of the virus is now under 3%, less than half that for SARS, but it's more contagious. On February 3rd, the nationwide death toll reached 361, overtaking SARS. But the next day, newly confirmed patients started to slow down outside Hubei province, where Wuhan is the provincial capital, a sign that the lockdown on Wuhan might have started to work. By the third week of the lockdown, over 10,000 cases were confirmed, and tens of thousands more were suspected in Wuhan. But fewer than 200 hospital beds were available. The government decided to convert public buildings, such as stadiums and convention centers, into temporary hospitals. The first three offered more than 4,000 beds.
在酒店隔离不可能核酸试剂检查什么的，不可能做的那么及时，所以我们想到实时的知道我们在情况。
25-year-old Ms. Shen was transferred to a temporary hospital from a hotel that had been turned into a quarantine center. The temporary hospitals only take in patients with mild symptoms. Patients admitted can basically take care of themselves. This woman is waiting in line to fetch some hot water.
这里生活方便吗？
还可以，
还可以。
都要相互理解一下。
上厕所方便吗？
还可以吧，就排队嘛。
排队因为上厕所要排队都排多长时间呀？
上厕所一般的还好，时间很短。就是打水的时候有点困难。
Because of similar protective suits, a patient mistakes a CGTN reporter for his doctor.
特别感谢你们啊！好，我不是大夫啊，我是记者，你要感谢他们。
Mr. Ye is a Muslim from Qinghai province. He was infected during a trip to Wuhan.
清真的全部拿过来了。哦，有专门的清真餐是吧？专门的清真的给我拿过来。需要自己解决吗？这个？啥都解决好。餐费需要自己付吗？啊，餐费啊，这是治疗费需要你自己付钱吗？没有，全部给我包括完了。
One woman is critical of the original response to the crisis.
这个国家也是费了很大的力气在拯救，但是还是武汉市地方对这个事情还是整治缓慢。
今年很多人都在缅怀一位医生李文亮。
A local doctor, Li Wenliang, tried to alert people about the virus a month before the lockdown, but he was reprimanded by the local authorities. Then he too became sick. CGTN reached out to him, but he was already severely ill with the coronavirus. But that day never came. On February 7th, Li passed away. Amid a public uproar, the central government sent a special team to investigate the circumstances leading to Dr. Li's death. In this battle against the virus, over 3,000 medical workers were infected in China. Many are in Wuhan. A dozen died. As doctors and nurses risk their lives in the wards, residents in Wuhan are doing their part to pull the city together. Gloves and protective suits have been donated from across China and even from overseas. Distributing them is a challenge. But here comes Hu Yang, a mother of two and an owner of a local spa, and also a volunteer.
我们找那个郝主任，他是在前面嘛，那个收物资的地方。好，谢谢。然后我们现在已经从4号门准备进来右拐了，您这边有人收货吗？好，谢谢您，好，
The delivery isn't easy. It takes time to find the right entrance. Most of the gates are closed to the public to prevent contamination. When we get there, doctors are already waiting.
就几天，因为现在口罩和最紧俏的就是一个防护服和口罩，别的还好，会小点，但是可以有很大的帮助。但是现在目前呢，现在最急需的是医用口罩。
Wu's delivery is of 2,400 such medical masks. Very hard to get now. Not all volunteers' families are happy about what they are doing.
对，然后我妈就骂我说她加入了说我影响到她。
Couriers are essential in this crisis. We meet some of them who are delivering medical equipment. This one has no time to talk.
公司是有规定是吧？
We follow him to a warehouse and meet a nurse who coordinates the distribution of medical supplies.
就是武汉市和周边市区各个医院送物资，然后这边顺丰的站点就给予了很多帮助。包括有给荆州市中心医院送的物资，他们站点的费用都是他们员工自己出的。对。
Only 3 express companies insisted on providing service in town, but only for sending and receiving medical goods.
你没有跟其他的公司的快递小哥交流过？羡不羡慕他们现在？
也不是羡慕，我觉得他们要羡慕我们，因为我们在疫情最严重的时候还在挺身而出，还在为大家，我们觉得还是蛮自豪的。
Sher lives alone in Wuhan while his family lives in a remote village. He often has to go to hospitals with coronavirus patients.
妻子特别支持我，他说在外面要让我时刻的小心，8点钟约好，然后视频聊天，他还看一下是不是骗他。
他担心你骗他什么呢？
主要是担心我们在外面，像我们特别是进入这些医院的人员比较密集的地方。每次我小孩都说，这么一声大的骂，这个我孩子每次说的觉得蛮欣慰，知道吗？
On February 12th, more than 10,000 new cases were announced in the city. The surge came when health authorities started to use clinical symptoms to determine a coronavirus patient rather than relying on slow tests.
中共中央政治局常务委员会2月12号召开会议。
On the same day, President Xi led another meeting of the Politburo Standing Committee. The meeting concluded that formalism and bureaucracy were big enemies in the fight against the virus. The next day, Hubei province and the city of Wuhan saw a change in leadership and more stringent measures to tackle the epidemic. More help arrived. Another 1,400 military medics were sent to Wuhan on February 13th. 11 military aircraft brought medical teams and supplies. It's the first time that China's Y-20 transport plane is taking part in an operation outside of military drills.
这次我们医疗证抽的是精神强调重症、呼吸、传染、防疫。
今天我们都是
get over 300,000 N95 medical masks per day, up from 35,000 per day in late January. On February 17th, Wuhan said the city was finally able to quarantine all people who might spread the virus. How did they do it? Walking, knocking, and more knocking. Everyone is ordered to stay home until further notice. Only residents with medical emergencies or those with jobs relating to fighting the epidemic are allowed to leave. Groceries are purchased online, left at the entrances, and picked up later to avoid contact. Demobilizing people in Wuhan is key to cutting off paths for the virus to spread.
The opinion of the joint mission, after looking at this very, very closely and in different ways, that there's no question that China's bold approach to the rapid spread of this new respiratory pathogen has changed the course of what was a rapidly escalating and continues to be deadly epidemic. And I just thought it's so important that we recognize that. And to the people of Wuhan, it is recognized that the world's in your debt. And when this disease finishes, hopefully we'll have a chance to thank the people of Wuhan for the role that they've played in it, because many of us, many of people here have suffered, but the people of that city have gone through an extraordinary period and they're still going through it.
month after the lockdown, it seems like an end is approaching. More and more provinces start to see no increase in confirmed cases. And in Wuhan, patients with coronavirus symptoms no longer need to wait for days for the nucleic acid test. The number of daily new cases is on the verge of dropping into double digits. Doctors and nurses can't relax, but the country is behind them.
各地对我们的这种资助，我们就是生活上的改善人员上的改善，特别感激，是真心的感激。就是之前就以为就是我们自己对武汉的这种这样的，然后其实就知道其实不是一个人在战斗，全国人民都在支持我们。
我相信这次疫情给每一个人都会留下一个深刻的记忆。
The battle isn't over, but people are now looking ahead to the day when love and life can resume.
我说潘多拉的盒子已经打开了，然后灾难、恐惧、疾病这些都跳出来了，然后但是这个盒子里面最后的一样东西